Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jill Hicks from JH Consulting. I'm excited to see so many of you are back today. This is wonderful. Today's topic is going to be all about social media. So, what I love about our times together in these workshops is answering your questions. So, I'm going to open the chat over here and feel free to type in as I speak any questions that you might have on this topic. Um, I will try to answer them after I finish sharing with you what I want to talk about today. So let me get all set up. I hope that your daughters are doing well and that they're settling into their school schedules. I know it's kind of crazy at first, and then they get back into the swing of things, and so do you guys as parents. And it can take some time, but it's also a good time for everybody to get back on a routine and just back into the swing of things. So here we go. We are talking about social media and specifically Instagram. Back in the day when I was recruited, there were no videos. In fact, I was thinking about it. I have no idea how college coaches found me. I can see how maybe the ones in California, from where I was from, those colleges found me because I was from a club, a popular club in California, but I have no idea how the other schools ever found me. That's how hard it was to be found. So that was 30 years ago. Things have definitely changed. And then it went to 8 track, those really thick type of videos. And what was so funny is every college coach's office was filled, like the walls were just filled with 8 track videos. And we'd have to put them in the video machine and watch them. And sometimes they didn't work, or they were blurry, or some girls never even sent them, or they wouldn't send updates. It would take forever to get them. And it was just so hard. So, yeah, we went to meets for sure, but I think it was much more difficult to find recruits back then. Then it was those round discs. We had some athletes who would put their videos on those discs, and now it's Instagram. It'll be so weird to see down the road what it turns into in the future if it changes. But Instagram has really got some benefits, and especially to the college coach, because they have very little extra time in their day to be finding athletes. So they're constantly on Instagram. And I think it's really cool that the girls can really do it themselves, and they can take ownership, be proud of what they're posting, and uh, do a pretty darn good job without having any background in getting recruited. So, but of course, I've been watching for a long time how Instagram has evolved, and posts that I see, there's some pitfalls. And then there's some really good things that I think really benefit the athlete, especially the gymnast, in what they're posting. So, how can I blame these young girls? They don't know what they're doing, and they're probably looking at other, recruits' Instagram pages and posting, um, imitating whatever they're seeing. And some of it's really good. I wouldn't change it a bit. And like I said, some of it, I think they just aren't aware. So I'm going to share a little bit of those tips. I'm going to share some of the pitfalls, the red flags, and then also a little bit about what we do here at JH Consulting to help with our clients. All right. So I have to say, scores will still be the number one place a college coaches will go to find athletes. So, but scores don't tell the whole story. Okay. So, scores, I think, are a really good foundation to an athlete, especially if their scores are good. But they really only tell a small little bit of that athlete in regards to their routines, their future, their potential, all of that. So that's where Instagram really becomes powerful. All right. So Instagram is the number one place for gymnasts to be recruited, especially fact checked. So, what do I mean by fact checked? Well, basically, scores, like I said, don't share the whole story. And you could go to one meet and score 3 or 4 tenths higher or lower than another meet in a different state, for example. So college coaches want to go to Instagram to really see the truth, to see the facts of that athlete. So you can catch the attention of the college coach if you do a really good job on your Instagram page. But if you're posting the wrong things, then you can also turn them away. But they'll always go to anywhere they can find scores first to usually get started if they haven't seen an athlete before or heard about an athlete. So that's where they'll start. Then they usually go to social media. Um, Instagram, I always tell our clients, Instagram is the recruit's business resume to the college coach. Also, Instagram is quick and easy. However, without guidance, Instagram can be used improperly and may not benefit the athlete. I find almost 90% of the time gymnasts really struggle with posting. And there's a variety of reasons why. I just met with a brand new client 2 days ago. And she said she actually gets anxiety and struggles with posting. And she's elite. She's a great gymnast, you know. So can you imagine being a gymnast who wants to get recruited and you don't even have, you're not even at level 10 or 10 start values yet. So we have to remember, I think, as parents, that what seems obvious to us in asking them why they're not posting or why they're not getting videos, it's much deeper than that for them. There's so many, I would say, impressions they have about Instagram that make it really hard for them to follow through and post enough and post things that the college coach wants to see, not what they think is important. I think that's the other big thing I see. I try to get across to my clients is I want you to I want you to post things through what the lens of the college coach needs to see to recruit you. And they're always like, what? What does that mean? Like, they're just thinking, if they're on Instagram a lot, if they're older, they're in high school, they're thinking about what looks cool, what's going to get likes, how are their friends going to feel about them? And I have to flip the script for them completely and say, no, this is your business resume to the college coaches. This is not for grandma. This is not for your friends. And this is not to get likes from anyone, really. This is your platform, or, I mean, a lot of them don't even know what a resume is. They've never had a job. But I try to explain it to them like that. So you would never turn in a resume that didn't have what they're asking for. You would never turn in a resume that didn't have all your strengths. You would never turn in a resume that is half of who you really are. You would want your resume to be complete. And when I start to have that kind of conversation with them, they really do light up and they look at it completely different. And I find I have a lot more success with them. All right, so let's break it down a little bit. Think about this. The gymnasts go into the gym every single day with assignments, and most gymnasts are really into that. Give me my assignment, I'm going to do it. And they like to achieve. They like to check things off. They like to do what they're told to do, basically. They're kind of people pleasers for the most part, or they wouldn't have lasted in this sport because you have to kind of like to get an assignment and get it done and get it done quickly to move forward. So we have to remember that every day they walk in the gym, they're trying to attain perfectionism because in order to score well, the coaches are telling them in club, which is right, great, but your legs are bent. Great, but your toes aren't pointed. That's nice, but your elbows are bent. And then they hire someone like us, or you as a parent are trying to help them in recruiting, and you're saying, post more. And they're thinking, I don't have straight legs. I don't have my toes pointed perfectly. Perfectly is what they're thinking. So we have to remind them it's not about perfection. It's about posting your progress. And yes, they need to be the cleanest that you can, but you will never be perfect. So if we wait till you're perfect, coaches will move on and go to someone else. So I try to help them understand. It's such a good life skill for them to understand this part of the recruiting process, um, to realize their 100% is their 100%. And if a coach likes their effort and their cleanest routines, then that's the school that they're going to find most success at, in a way. Instead of, I have to have perfect videos, I have to be careful of what my friends are going to say when they see this. I want to get likes. We all have those um, things in the back of our minds, right? And now we're trying to get the gymnasts to move forward on this in the right way. And there's so many parts of it that we have to break down their ideas in their little 12, 13, 14-year-old mind, or, really 14-year-old is when they should start doing this. So there you go. It's challenging. So I hope that helps you as parents to understand, have compassion, and realize you're thinking, I'm thinking as an adult, get your stuff out there so you can get recruited. They're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. I want to wait till it's perfect. Yeah, I get it. There's a balance in there, but just keep all of that in mind as, you're trying to help them through this. All right. Now we're going to start telling them they have to post. They see Instagram as a social place. We have to help them understand, no, this isn't social for you. If you want a social Instagram, do that over here on a separate page. But this Instagram is going to be your business resume to college coaches. So it's very different. Okay. Um, let me see. So those are some of the things that I see and hear the most. Here are some of the, I'm going to, in this next section, I'm just going to answer some of the questions I hear from families the most. One is Instagram the only platform they should be using? There are a couple coaches that, like the Cornell coach, she likes YouTube, but most, I would say 99% of the time, it's going to be Instagram. Or you're going to send a video in an email, but it's really hard to expect that that is going to be your main resource of posting, because you're competing against girls who are posting on Instagram and the college coaches are seeing it all the time. You can't send emails all the time, so you kind of have to find a balance in both worlds. We do both here at JH Consulting. When should you start having an Instagram? I say by level 9. That's a good time. And you really don't have to post any videos until you have a really solid level 9 season. And here's why. Most college coaches are looking for level 10s, level 10 routines, level 10 skills with 10 start values for college. So anything prior to that is not really going to benefit you a ton in the true recruiting process, unless you want to go acrobatics and tumbling or maybe some of the D3 schools. The benefit of seeing level 9, your very best level 9 routines, is coaches can still see. So when I see a level 9 routine, I can see shapes, I can see technique, I can see foundation for level 10. So those things are important, but level 10 is really where it's at for Division 1 and 2, especially, and even Division 3 schools now. So um, if you're really strong on a couple events, but you're not a level 10, that would be a good time to post too. You could post if you're level 9, but you have level 10 skills on a couple events, not a bad time either. So whenever you get to that point, I think that's a good time to have. Make sure they have first name, last name, year they graduate, not some funny name, not trying to figure out another name they go by in the gym, or you can't figure out what year they're graduating. Those things make it really frustrating for a college coach, and they will move on really quickly. So most gymnasts do not want to post until they have their full routines, until they're perfect. I get that a lot. Yes. I always say, again, it's not about being perfect. It's about posting your cleanest routines and um, trying to really help them understand that. The best video to post, in fact, I believe, is when you fall, you take a deep breath, you get back up, and you finish your routine really well. That is a coach's dream post. When I tell families that and girls that, their eyes pop out. They think I'm only going to put together, this or that. I want to only see my best, but that's not reality. No gymnast never falls. So when I used to see an athlete who fell and they took the moment and then get back up and nail the routine, I want to recruit that girl. One, she's posting her truth. Two, she knows how to turn her routine around, the mental game. Okay. And then three, I think it shows the college coach that they're not trying to fake who they are, which can be done nowadays so easily with all the different apps and video things. So there's lots of reasons to post a routine if you fall and get back up and nail it. And I can think of so many examples like that that girls wouldn't think of just because I've been a college coach. And we aren't looking for the same thing as the girls are thinking we are. Um, I'm always trying to get the girls to think, like I said earlier, like a coach, which is really hard for them to do. They're not coaches. They've never been coaches. They've never coached in college. So a lot of what we do at JH Consulting is explaining all of that to them. All right. I always say keep safe on Instagram. So parents should have passwords, parents should be monitoring. You can keep it private, but that's a lot harder for a college coach because then they have to ask, and then it could take a day or two. And by then they're lost in, trying to follow somebody. So public is really the best way to go, but we want people monitoring for sure, adults who are in charge of those kids. All right. How is Instagram a game changer? Because you can show not only your gymnastics, but also who you are, your personality, your academic achievements, your friends, what you like to do as a family. College coaches are dealing all the time with one or two girls on their team that don't fit in. And so, no matter how good their gymnastics is, they have to get to know them as people. And that's the beauty of Instagram. You can really show who you are. We try to at JH Consulting come up with creative ideas on ways they can do that they're comfortable and have fun with it, and get them out of their shell a little bit. A lot of gymnasts are shy when they're young and they haven't had a lot of social experiences. So all of this can be so intimidating. So we work really hard at taking it one step at a time, encouraging them to have confidence to make these posts that I think are going to be super impactful in the recruiting process. Should you be tagging college teams on your posts? So I see a lot of girls do this, and there's nothing terribly wrong with it. But just imagine if you're a coach, you're looking for a recruit, and you see that they've tagged certain schools and you're not one of them. It's a bad taste in their mouth. It's like, well, you could look at it like they don't really get that they shouldn't be doing that because that turned me off as their potential recruiter. I'm not on there. Or you can kind of look past it, not worry about it. But I think it's just one of those things that, I wouldn't recommend doing that until they get to a point, like if they're really late in the recruiting process and there's only a few schools that they really truly want to go to for maybe their academics. That's not a bad reason, but there's just too many negative reasons to do that. And I get it why girls do it. You would think, oh, I'll tag them so they are for sure to see my video. It makes total sense from that perspective, but I'm kind of think through the coach's lens. Okay. What else here? How often should the recruit be posting? That is depends on the situation. So I always tell the girls, explain to them, okay, let's add up. How many hours are you in the gym? How many turns do you take in one day when you're at practice? And by the end of the week, when we total up, it's over 200 turns. And they tell me they can't post one video a week because blah, 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 this reason, that reason. And I tell them, look, you're taking 200 turns in the gym. I need more videos, and of course, we don't want sloppy and we don't want them to, badger their coaches, club coaches who are like, no, don't get your camera out, don't get your phone out. There are a lot of challenges to the kids in getting videos, but I try to help them realize, you're taking 200 turns, you're not posting each week, nothing, zero. That coach is looking at you and going, I want to see how you're progressing every single week. Because in the sport of gymnastics, one week is a lot of work and a lot of changes. And I try to help them understand that. So, my goal for my clients is 4 videos a week. Um, what do the college coaches really want to see from the recruit? So, it's very different depending on each girl, where they're at. Are they injured? Are they coming back from an injury? How old are they? What level are they? How clean are they? How'd their season go? We here at JH Consulting evaluate all those kind of things before we make strong statements of what the college coaches want to see from them, probably. So those tip top blue chip recruits, they don't post at all. So none of this applies to the elites. Or sometimes even the super strong level 10s, mostly the elites, and they have very few meets. But of course, their skills are above level 10. So those schools are going to watch those elite meets, and that's how they recruit those girls. Okay. So there, we'll just put that aside. It's only about 10% each year of the recruits that go through the process. Everybody else is competing for a spot. Okay, everyone else. This becomes their way sometimes to be found and to show up, to be competitive on Instagram with other girls that are graduating their year. So coaches like to see their progress. All right. I use that word a lot and try to get the word perfectionism out of the way and progress, progress, progress. But the number one thing the coaches tell me they want to see is basics. And most girls die when I say, like, you're kidding. I would never think to post my basics. Basics are so foundational to an athlete's future. So if you come from a club where you do a lot of basics and you warm up with basics, I'm telling you, it's a game changer in recruiting. Show it, show it, show it, show it. Because you might get injured that year, but if you have really strong basics, the coach knows when you get back, you're going to be fine. Um, if you have really strong basics, it tells the college coach probably, let's say you have your Chinko layout full, but you don't have a 1.5, but you have really strong basics in your twisting, your tumbling basics. All of that applies to potentially getting a 1.5 someday. So again, thinking about it through the college coach's lens is so vital. All right. Um, the bulk of our clients are just working super hard to get to level 10. So if that's your athlete, I get it. That's who we work with. We have elites. We have really strong level 10s who do well at nationals. Their posts are going to be much different than the girls who are level 9 struggling to become level 10s, or weak level 10s trying to become stronger level 10s, or the late bloomer. All of those types of athletes are really the bulk of our clients. So there's a variety of things we like to do creatively to catch the attention of the college coaches and get on their watch list or stay competitive in whatever tier they are being put on a college coach's list. So there's so much to Instagram that we could never imagine these girls would understand. There's just, it's no way, you know? So, that's a lot of what we see. Okay, here's some questions. What if there isn't really any noticeable progress week to week? Great question. I would beg to differ. If there's not any progress, what are we doing? Uh, I don't know. I mean, I guess if they're not progressing, because in gymnastics, there are little tiny things you can always progress on. And I think that's what the girls don't realize, the coaches can see. So, yeah, you could go a couple weeks without any progress, but that might mean we've got an issue. I just, I don't know. I just think there's always progress going on. There should be every turn they take, they should be making progress on something. And that's why it's not just about, it could be leaps, it could be jumps, it could be turns, it could be a full turn and how you lunge out of it. It could be your series on beam and how your arms are. It could be, strong this week and not maybe the last week your arm, you were landing forward. Now you're landing chest here. It's little tiny things that coaches can see, and it makes a huge impact. And then they should be commenting about it in their comments. So it draws attention to that specific thing that they adjusted. Okay. Since Insta is their resume, should they give friends, family access to their account? Also, it's they can, but not if they're going to get all worked up over who's following them. Then it's not good. So you have to kind of look at your own child, your own situation, your own teenager, and you know, I mean, I don't mind if grandparents are following. It doesn't matter. Coaches don't have time to look, oh, who's following them. So it's not for that reason. It's more for in their head to remind themselves, no matter who's following them, the goal is what does the coach need to see to recruit me? It's very simple. It's not hard, not rocket science. Also, what if someone makes a poor comment on their account? College coaches know it. I don't know. How poor do you mean? Um, I had to get over that as a business online, I don't get a lot of that, but when I do, I just kind of brush it off. I know it's easy for me, I'm an adult, but um I would just say, don't worry. And, I would either delete the post if it's on a post. If it's a story, no one else can usually see it. But if it's a post and it's really bad, you could just delete the post. You know, I'm assuming you're saying like someone would say, why are you posting this? It's so bad or something like that. I don't know. I know sometimes kids can be mean, say mean things, but college coaches look past a lot of that. If they are going to post multiple videos in one post, is it better to post separately? I think it is. Again, looking through a lens of a college coach. If they're going, ooh, I like this girl's bar scores, they head over to Instagram and they're like, I can't find her bar routine. It drives me crazy too, as an advisor. I I don't want to have to look through multiple ones to go, okay, I wonder if her bar post is in here. I want to be able to go, okay, I see there's the bars, the initial picture, and then I click on it, there the video goes, and it's her bars. That's, a lot more efficient. But it's not bad to post multiples, but I would say it's better for a coach. So you have to swipe to edit together into one continuous video with multiple skills, or does it matter? I think I just answered that. Good question though. Okay, back to my talk, and you guys keep asking. These are great questions. I just have a few more things. So, what are some things I recommend the girls post? So, basics, like I said, leaps and jumps on beam and floor. If they do ballet, a bit of their ballet sessions, dance throughs on beam and floor, their choreography. Remember, artistry has become a much bigger piece in the judges. Judging girls in gymnastics and in college. So most of the girls are not posting any artistry. Like they are just thinking full routines, perfect routines. And I'm like, no, no, no. Artistry, artistry, artistry. Okay, so dance throughs and talk about it. I'm working on the rhythm of my beam routine. Oh my gosh, a college coach would go nuts over that. So yes, full routines at times, half routines at times, parts, progressions, conditioning, how they warm up on a lot of times on bars, especially, they do a little sequence. And most girls never post that. I'm like, it's the most valuable thing to a college coach to see their warm up on bars. So there's lots of little things like that they don't think of. How can we get our daughters to post the videos needed? One, I know what we do at JH Consulting. We have very specific fun PDFs that we do with the girls, and they have an action plan on what they need to post. And then we talk to them at the session. How'd it go? Were you able to? I noticed you were able to do this. I looked at your Instagram. We set goals with them. We talk about maybe sitting with your club coach and saying, hey, I'd like to do a better job on Instagram. Is this okay with you? I'd like to get my phone out and do 4 videos a week or whatever it is. Because a lot of times they're afraid their coaches are going to get mad at them if they get their phones out. There's a lot they're dealing with. So be sure you have a team effort approach at the gym. Remind them it's not for friends, it's for the purpose of being recruited. We talked about that. Discussing the fact that they need to think about posting things the college coach wants and needs to see through that lens of the college coach. We talked about that a lot. For example, sometimes when I'm meeting with a client, let's say their best events are Beam and Bars, but they are only posting the event they like the most, but not their best events. So we have to work through some of that too. Because if they're going to get recruited, they've got to be posting what the college coach needs to see. And if it's Beam and Bars and they're not posting enough, we have to switch it up. And remember, I always tell them just show your progress. Clean gymnastics is the key in college. At JH Consulting, I see such relief come to the client and parent when we have a plan, and that it's not all on their shoulders to figure this out. Relief comes when they work with someone with an expert on this subject. So they're not having to wonder, am I doing enough? Am I, all those kinds of things. Relief comes when they start to gain traction in recruiting because they've changed up their Instagram. Lastly, remember college coaches are so busy. They're just human beings and you've got to catch their attention. So you have to be creative, you have to think like a coach, and it's a lot for a kid to figure it out. Make it easy on the college coaches to see what they need. If you only post highlights, a lot of kids do that. It's the worst thing they can do. Highlight videos are, I used to just look at those and cringe as a coach because you can see where they cut, where they must have fallen and then all of that. Once in a while, a highlight video is kind of fun, no problem, but not to get recruited. It's not a good idea. Also, college coaches will look at the parents' social media. Be aware. It's a big thing. They're trying to find out all about an athlete, and you parents are very important in that. So sometimes they will do that. How important is engagement on Instagram, like commenting on peers' pages? Yeah, I was going to share that. It's really important. It shows your athlete is other-centered, and that can be really important. Um, so make it as smooth and simple and easy for your athlete as possible. Have them set goals, make it fun and creative, um, and not to compare. Remind them, let's not compare ourselves to anyone else. Um, all right, so that's all I have for today. If you guys have any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Let's see here. Can everybody get in the chat? I'm trying to look at it and see here. Are you guys all okay about getting in? Let me see. Something changed over here. I gotta fix it. I think we're good. Thanks so much for joining me today, all of you. amazing athletes, amazing parents, amazing club coaches. It's so important that these girls feel supported, that they feel like it's a team effort. And I think, oh, here we go. How to use stories rather than posts. Oh, I love that. Sometimes the girls do get confused about what they should put on stories, but we know that only, what is it? A 24-hour period or something it lasts. So we're really careful about stories. Everything really needs to go on their regular posts. And then there may be some fun things on their stories. It's okay to do stories. I think some coaches do scroll through stories. It's not a bad thing, but I wouldn't think that their bulk of what they're doing, it really should go on their page. Does an email and a follow from a college coach mean they are interested? Not always. A lot of coaches will say, we're keeping an eye on you, keep sending us updates. It means that's the first layer of their interest sometimes. But there's so many other things here at JH Consulting that we look at to identify how serious they are. We appreciate you doing this free workshop for us parents. You bring some relief to this stressful roller coaster ride. Oh, I'm so glad. Have you heard different things about coaches reaching out versus athletes? I'm not sure what you mean. Have you heard different things about coaches reaching out? Versus, you mean club coaches? I don't know what you mean by that. When college coaches start following your Instagram, will they comment or like a post to show interest? They usually will never comment. They're not going to comment. They might like a post. Uh-huh. Do college coaches have current athletes follow recruits since they are so busy? Sometimes when they are allowed to, they'll create they'll talk to their girls at gym and say they could say, let's start following this girl and liking her posts, or they could do something like that. I know some coaches do it differently, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's happening. Um, Good questions. We've been told that only athletes should be reaching out to coaches, and have been told the club coaches should reach out earlier than the athletes are able to. Oh, I see. Um, it depends again on the situation. They're not supposed to be recruiting certain age groups. So if a club coach emails them, they're not supposed to discuss the younger athlete. So, um, I'm sure it happens sometimes, but a college coach should say, sorry, I can't discuss this athlete. Is it better for the athlete to reach out? Yes, it is better. Even if they can't get a response, it's okay to just send updates, and we'll see when they're able to have back and forth communication, how serious that college really is in them. I see some girls creating personal recruiting websites. Are those becoming more necessary? No, that's sort of a thing of the past. Um, yeah. So I would say it was a really great thing in the past. I forgot about that actually when I was sharing how girls got recruited. Now it's way more Instagram, and that's just because it's faster, easier, it's quick. It's easier to, I mean, the coaches really want videos, so it's just such a faster way of recruiting an athlete. Should they post their meet schedules on their Instagram or save that for emails? Ooh, that's a good question. I would say I would recommend saving for emails. Um, when girls win awards at college camps, should they absolutely put those in the bio section of their Instagram with GPA, etc.? Absolutely. I think that's brilliant. Those are definitely good ideas. Are fall camps a good way to be recruited or get? Absolutely, they are good, but I see most people go to the wrong ones, so be aware of that. Be careful. At what level should they start posting for I tumbling and acrobatic in high school years. They recruit a little later and by level 8, but I wouldn't say they get super serious till they're in high school more. Let's see. Yep. So if you're interested in JH Consulting, feel free to go to our website, jhicksconsulting.com, and click on Get Started, drop down to gymnastics, fill out the forms page, and one of our advisors will give you a call. A couple more here. Um, what does the wrong ones mean? How do you know which camps are the correct camps? That's the wrong ones, meaning it's so hard for family to figure out which schools are going to be truly where they're going to have an opportunity. That's what I mean by that. So um, we look at their skills, their start values, their scores, their GPA, their test scores, their technique, their, I mean, I could probably list 10 more things when we're helping our clients target the right schools. We look at what we know from the coaches because we have direct communication with college coaches and what they need. We look at what they're telling us. So there's just so many things. Is there complete or semi-complete list of current fall camps being offered? No, you just have to look on Instagram. Or do we need to go to each school's website? Yes, you do. Sorry about that. We try to do a summer camp list. It's really hard to keep up with that and the fall camps. So if you go to my website, it's actually the number one place we get the most hits is our summer camp list. So yeah, we don't do as many of the fall ones because it's just too much. If your gymnast is experiencing an injury, how do you handle this on Instagram? It depends on the injury, depends on how she's coming back. It depends on, I mean, there's so many things that could make it look as a negative, and there's so many ways to make it a positive. So, there's a lot. Got it. That was helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, let's see. I think I got everything. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for joining me. I will be here again every other Wednesday. Again, I'm going to try to move it all over to these workshops. I do Facebook Live as well on the opposite Wednesdays, but I'm going to try to get it all moved over here. So you'll be seeing many more of these. Let me know. Email me anytime, Jill at jhicksconsulting.com. It looks like there was almost 100 of you here today, so that was fantastic. But have a good day. Will I share a replay of this? No, I only share it unless you're a paying client. Sorry about that. All righty. Let's see. Here we go.